This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and this is episode 18. And we're in a different setting. I am at LTE Studios in Los Angeles, California. Last year, I was here to visit my friend Dion. And I said, hey, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to record a podcast episode. And here we are. And I have a guest, Jonathan. And so let's get into it. Jonathan and I worked together on the Oscars. This is our second year. Mm-hmm. And the Oscars was actually last Sunday, March 10th.
Yeah, literally a week from today.
March 10th. Mm-hmm. And I asked him while we were on set if I could interview him. I heard you say something, Swole On Set, and I was like, what is Swole On Set? SOS. Then he started explaining it to me, and then I said, okay, let's talk about this a little bit more on my podcast, and here we are. So how are you doing? And first, thank you again for being a guest on my podcast.
Oh, yeah, no, thank you for having me here. You know, I hadn't even gotten to the point of imagining a platform where I could actually discuss Swole On Set, and, get that out there, it's going to be archived, So I like that. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Mm-hmm. But before we get into it, let me just show you this little bling that I'm wearing from my 5K, the LA Big 5K that I just did yesterday, March 16th. And I am proud of myself. Mm-hmm. I ran the whole way. I came in at, I think, 35 minutes.
Wow.
So that's a major accomplishment for me. And even if I didn't come in at 35 minutes, just finishing it was, would have been just great enough. But it was beautiful. I was at Dodger Stadium, over 8,000 people.
Wow.
Big shout out to Felicia, because Felicia came through. Felicia is another coworker of ours, and she came through, made signs, took some really dope pictures of me.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really appreciative for Felicia. Shout out to my cousin who also participated in the 5K, and all the other participants who finished that 5K, crossed the line, whether you walked, you ran, you did a little bit of both.
Yeah,
you did it right. There you go. You crossed the line. And today, March 17th, was the Los Angeles Marathon.
Oh my gosh. So
that's 26.2 miles. Anybody who did the 5K yesterday and the marathon, kudos to you. Kudos to you.
Honestly, you deserve all the credit. That's a lot of work.
Everything. So congratulations to everybody this weekend. Ooh.
No, that's awesome. And it's funny because Felicia, she had mentioned that to me, like, oh, you're going to be with me? Because she started talking about it. I told her, like, yeah, no, I gotta, I'm just going to be super relaxed. I'm trying not to go really just about anywhere this weekend. But it sounded pretty awesome, and that's incredible. She's a real one for that,
She is.
Coming out there making signs, you said?
Made two signs.
That's impressive.
Made two signs.
Granted, she's also very crafty.
Right.
So
she is.
I could totally see her doing great with that.
She sure is. She sure is. But happy birthday, or happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Did you do anything fun?
Went out to eat. What is it? Restaurant called Hippo.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's called Hippo in Highland Park, and also I'm a big arcade junkie. I like games and all that stuff. So there's a place called Barcade right there in Highland Park. I think they claim to be like maybe the original Barcade, something like that. But yeah, it's a pretty awesome location. Very busy on a Saturday night. Go figure. But it was still pretty awesome, and eventually, more and more people start to exit and more games become available. But like everything is, as far as that kind of thing goes, reasonably priced. Had a good time, So yeah, just kind of chilled and enjoyed myself, for the evening. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. And then today, finally got back in the gym.
Hey.
So that's also a reward to me. A little birthday gift to myself in a way.
Hey, nice. I'm glad you had a great birthday weekend. and you got back into the gym.
Yes, I did.
So while we were on set, Jonathan and I, started doing 100 jumping jacks a day. Now, we didn't
Yeah.
do it every day, but our first day that we did it, we were like, yo, first day we did 10.
Yes, we
Right?
started out with 10.
And then I said, you know what, let's go up. Let's go to 100. And then we did 100, did 100 a couple times, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we tried to do it together when we could.
Right.
Sometimes it just didn't line up like that. You were pretty good about knocking them out in the morning, like before you even got there, that's fantastic. I wish I had the spirit to do that more days, but it was still good to connect with you throughout the day and hear that you had already done them, and then to have you as my reminder to knock them out myself. And so at some point, you'd see me again, I'll be out of breath, and I'll let you know what happens. So.
And then the reason why I said let's do jumping jacks is because our conversation about Swole On Set. So let's get into what SOS means.
Okay. So Swole On Set, I mean, I think the name is pretty much the tagline right there. That's kind of what you need to know. It's about getting fit in a work setting. In particular, this was created from the mindset of somebody that works on a set, that works on a production field. And that's basically what it is. It's taking advantage of what you have available to you to just go ahead and get fit during your downtime, within reason, just being safe, but also still, we don't have time necessarily to get to the gym, every day, especially in this business, because a lot of us do work 12 hours a day or longer, and it's just kind of like, in the morning or at night, you might just not really have the time or the energy at that particular moment to make it to the gym, especially if you want a workout that's going to last for more than 15 minutes or something. So that was the beauty of coming up with Swole On Set. It's really about motivating yourself and motivating each other to take advantage of the time that you have while you are on set to, get fit, to maintain, there's different ways you can reach your goals. And this is just, pointing that out to you, giving you that advantage to go ahead and, just work on your body still.
Listen, after you told me that, I was like, all right, I'm doing jumping jacks. Brought my jump rope, something. And I think that is important. I think we spoke about this movement and just being active, especially while you're at work where you spend most of your time.
Absolutely.
And like you said, in this industry, we may not get off until 10, 11 o'clock. Are you really going to the gym? Some people may.
Yeah.
But most are like, I'm just going to go to sleep. I'm
And
going
that's assuming
home.
you have a gym that's open that late. Because
Right.
a lot of us don't.
Right. So doing little things like lifting the sandbags or, carrying tables or something.
Right.
Even the jumping jacks or the squats, doing something. And like you said, I think if I see you squatting or doing jumping jacks, just doing it, first I may be like, what's he doing? But then I'm saying, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure I get a lot of that too.
What is he doing? But then I may say, you know what? I should do that too. Like, that is inspiring, seeing somebody take time out of their day to do some type of fitness. Even if it's those 10 jumping jacks, those 10 squats, getting your steps in. I find myself too often just sitting at my desk and not getting up. And then if I get up, it's just to go, to the bathroom and then back. It's just like, oh, I didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
I think I should, take the time, go out, take a walk around the block.
A lap.
Right? Something. And I think people in other industries too, they just get like stagnant. Like they just don't move.
For sure.
When they're at work. They move when they go home. Like, all right, guys, I'm leaving. They sit at their desk all day.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing about it for me. It's just like, it kind of speaks to what you said, where it's like, yeah, you kind of get that reaction maybe from other folks. They usually don't say it out loud, but some do, where it's just kind of like, what are you doing? But also it's about kind of, normalizing this. The idea that, like, unless you are actually being somehow intrusive or unsafe, or somehow actually creating a small issue or whatever for the production or whatever job is involved. Yeah, just normalize getting up, stretching, doing a lap, doing some squats, all that. I think it should all be something that we get more comfortable with. Just be able to do that, to be able to do that right there on our job. Because a lot of the time, I mean, because I feel like there's all kinds of ways that we can be criticized, on the job for like not being productive.
Right.
Like sometimes if you're just literally on your phone, and especially the more relaxed your position is, the lazier you might look to certain folks. Even if you actually are involved in something that's related to the job in that moment. But most people can't really criticize you for getting up and burning a couple of calories, working on yourself in some type of way. Some people might crack a joke or something like that, but most people can't really come at you and be like, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing right now. It's just kind of like, is my task taken care of? Am I somehow interrupting things? No? Then, yeah, for the most part, you can just do that.
Yeah. I mean, well, let me tell you something. Some people will criticize you. Like, what are you? You're not supposed to be. Do that on your own time.
Right. People with nothing better to do.
Right.
Unfortunately.
It's like, oh gosh, I'm trying to be healthy here, fit. So where do you see Swole On Set? In the future? What are the goals for Swole On Set?
So the goals for Swole On Set, I mean, it's still an evolving thing, that's for sure. Heck, I'm still working on the logo, to be honest with y'all. But I want this to be something like, I mean, that's the whole idea, is that we're motivating ourselves, we're motivating each other to be active, be fit, despite our time constraints, while we're right there on the job. And so I like the idea of being able to just, because, okay, let me backtrack just a little bit. By the way, you do inspire me. Like last year, I'm pretty sure I hopped up and did some jump rope a little bit here and there, because you told me how you had your jump rope, and I saw you jump rope, and I'm just like, dang, I should start doing that too. And honestly, that kind of thing is the basis of where this whole mindset even came from in the first place. And so also, I was working on a commercial last year, and there was a production assistant on there who was, during our downtime, knocking out some push-ups. We owned the street at that moment. They were covered in our vehicles, and he carved out a space where he wasn't getting in the way and wasn't at risk of getting run over, and he was knocking out some push-ups. And I'm just like, dang, what's really stopping me from doing the same thing right now? So I hadn't even met him yet. But that was a reason for us to connect, So I actually went up to him, introduced myself, he introduced himself to me, and I told him, I was impressed by what he was doing and how I wanted to be a part of it. So we agreed that we would crack out 100 push-ups a day. It's a good number. So, and that's what we would do. So we didn't, bust out 100 right then and there, but what we would do is whenever there was some good downtime, and he was the one usually finding me, he would come up to me and be like, hey, let's get going. And it's just like, dang, all right, yeah, let's do it. And sometimes that's all it takes, it's just to have somebody else let you know, well, why not now?
Right.
Now is a good moment, let's do this, and you won't be alone in it even. We're both doing this. So we'd crack out, 20, 25, or whatever number felt comfortable in that moment. And then, by the end of the day, before we were done shooting, 100 is done. And it's just like, imagine, versus doing nothing, okay, yeah, we're on our feet 12 hours a day, we're going to burn some kind of calories at the very least, but could we have done 100 push-ups a day? Yeah, we could actually, and we did. And it's about, recognizing the availability of that. But where the idea ultimately came to my mind is when I was working on the BET Awards, last year. And somebody was just kind of teasing me for a second. They were just like, hey, John, did you, do your workout this morning? And I know they were just joking around, but it actually made me think dang, no, I didn't. I'm usually not a morning gym guy anyway. But it just made me think well, what's stopping me from doing some push-ups right here, right now? And so I did, I looked around, I found a little space where I wasn't going to be in anybody's way in that moment, and I just started doing some push-ups. I can't remember if I had a set number, if I did it to failure, but and I definitely got some looks, in that moment. That's for sure. I definitely had a couple people just kind of looking at me like, but why here? Why now? But yeah, as long as I wasn't interrupting them. And then later on that same day, I was just thinking to myself, like, there needs to be like, I don't know, some kind of recognition of this, some kind of just constant, or just some type of motivation to, yeah, just start getting fit when you can. And somehow the name just crossed my mind, Swole On Set, and then the initials SOS, and I'm just like, I like that, Now obviously SOS does have some other meanings in the world, but nothing where this won't fit in as well, So yeah, just different people have inspired me, to go ahead and be active in a production setting, and I'm like, well, why don't I spread this to other people, in an easy to understand way? So, okay, so I want to go back to, do you remember what your question was a little earlier?
No, well, that was great. And you are inspiring others as well.
Yes,
You
yes,
know?
whenever I can. And that's it. I mean, ever since coming up with that idea, every production that I've been on since then, pretty much every single one, I've kind of, brought up the idea or just started, doing a little bit of a workout myself. And yeah, there have been people that have been like, dang, okay, well, the next time you do some push ups, let me know. I'll do some too, or just like, whenever you do this, I'll do that, and like, even when we're not necessarily at the same place at the same time, people have been like, say, like, texting me back, been like, hey, I want you to know I did, some squats during our time that we had. And, it's just like, and that makes me feel good, it makes me feel like, okay, so it really is a purpose to this. And it is reaching people, and it is inspiring them to get up and move when they otherwise maybe wouldn't have, And seeing them do it, maybe I wasn't really feeling it that day. But after seeing that from them, hearing that from them, I'm like, okay, well, dang, let me get up and do something too. I got some time. I will find some time. So, it's like I said, it's about inspiring people. And you asked where I see this going, how I can see this growing. And I mean, the easy thing, I shouldn't say easy, but like one of the more obvious things is for it to be a point where it's like, okay, I've got like a hat on, that says Swole On Set, or t-shirt, wristband, anything, honestly. And like, I'm definitely a type of person that just wears a variety of different like graphic shirts and all that when it comes to being at work. And people, will pretty regularly recognize what I'm wearing and be like, oh, that's a cool shirt you got on, or, read the shirt and just think whatever is on there is interesting or funny. So that's always been like a conversation starter for me. It's just whatever shirt I'm wearing that day. And I don't see why this can't be, introduced to people in the same way. Where they simply see the shirt, and maybe the simply seeing the words on there, Swole On Set, that's going to have some people curious.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's that about? So I would like people to see it and be curious about it, and we can have that conversation. And maybe next thing you know, maybe they'll be joining me, doing their own thing, finding some time to exercise, and then we're doing that together, separately, but, getting that inspiration. And then I'd like it to get to a point where you can look it up online, or maybe even through an app, we'll see, and just find some like workout plans, some recommendations, like, okay, well, what do you have available to you on the job that you're on right now? Okay, well, maybe try doing this, try doing that. Here's a way to, get some exercise right now. And it's just like, hey, do this, and, just like that, you're going to burn this many calories. Just different recommendations, different ideas for people so that they can have a reason to get fit, be inspired to get fit. And honestly, I mean, I don't want to say the sky's the limit, but like, people, they come up with some good ideas, that they've told me about. Like, it's like, dare to dream, but somebody even brought up how you can have potentially celebrities getting involved, depending on the situation, depending on the set that I'm on.
You're right.
Somebody might see that, let's just throw out a name, I mean, let's not do that, actually. I don't want to put any celebrities on the spot in the future, but, if somebody sees it and, and maybe they see me doing it, actually doing some exercises during that moment, during that time, they might be curious about it too, and just, if they get involved, if they do even like one or two things, like at least I could say that this person saw what I was doing and appreciated it and even got involved. And that doesn't necessarily mean that like I could start posting that on social media, but you never know. There could be an agreement out of it at some point in time. So that would be really awesome to just have that kind of partnership with somebody with a little more sway in the world, who was also interested in the whole concept of just fitness during the time that you have fitness on set. But then another thing that I'd like to see in the future would be, say, a gym. I don't know if it'd be like a chain necessarily, but even just having one gym that's available to people. Granted, there's so many out there, but this one could at least have like a unique spin on it. You'd have your traditional gym equipment, and I think that'd be perfectly fine. But like you had a great idea of like, why not have things that are commonly seen on a set in a production setting available as workout equipment within this, production inspired gym. So why not sandbags? Why not apple boxes? I'm sure I'm missing some things right now, but there's
Those heavy ass, big ass printers.
right, Jesus, just get a printer that's like hollowed out from its actual innards and just put some heavy stuff in there.
Right.
Just be like, okay, move this around,
Right.
Same thing, 6-foot tables, 8-footers if you're feeling extra, like there's just so many different ways, and that's the thing. Like, wouldn't be the first time that I've had to carry a 6-footer farther than I would have liked, and next thing you know, like my forearms are sore, So is that a real workout? Honestly, yeah, it is. So, and imagine like going to a gym such as that, and then the next time you are in a production setting where you have to actually, work and you're moving that kind of stuff around, maybe you have an easier time.
It's easier.
Because you had a chance to do it at the gym. And since I'm sort of a late night gym goer myself, usually, preferably if there is a gym, it's 24 hour. So, and that could be, again, we work in a business where it's hard to fit in gym time as it is. So to me, a 24-hour gym is a necessity because, I may not have a chance to get there until after 10 o'clock at night. And I imagine that goes for a lot of other people, and maybe they'll take advantage of that. If they know that there's a gym available to them at those hours, then maybe that's when they'll go.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of different ways this could go. Clothing-wise, of course, I'd love to see, like I said, different kinds of hats, shirts, any kind of like dry fit type of stuff. Heck, even a wristband. Anything that, could be a conversation starter or just useful for the gym, maybe just throw it in your car and be ready, and that way you have something to change into. I just want to be available. I want to make this all available to people.
Listen, just let me know when it drops. I'll purchase some things.
Okay,
I'll wear it, and then they're like, "What does this mean? Swole On Set?" Well, let me tell you.
And that's how it goes. It is a conversation starter in and of itself, and when they see you do something, they'll be like, "Okay, well, what's stopping me?"
That's why I get inspired by so many people, and you inspired me again when we were talking about journaling, and you're like, "Yeah, I keep a notebook with me, and I write down at the end of the day what I accomplished. So then I can look back at it." And then I said, I should do that too. Like, we go through our days and like, I didn't, like you say, you may have missed your workout or you didn't accomplish what you wanted to at work, but maybe you read 10 pages, write that down. Maybe you meditated, It's just like, maybe you got 8 hours of sleep. Maybe you accomplished some things. Just look at your day and say, okay, this is what I accomplished. So you're not so hard on yourself. And
Exactly.
I started doing that. I was like, okay, yeah, I should write that. Like, yeah, okay, I did my Duolingo lesson, check.
Right, same.
I read 5 pages, check.
You
I
just gotta take the wins where you can get them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. That's what I'm saying. So, so you inspired me to do that, and again, you're inspiring others by being on set, by working out. You're showing up. So it's just like, okay, when I saw you on set, I'm like, all right, damn, all right. let's do something. Let's do
Yeah.
something together and try to keep each other accountable. Even I text you on
Yes.
your day off. I was like, I did my 100.
You did, and I think that same day I ended up knocking some out because you reminded me. So I'm just like, okay, that's real. I need to do something right now.
Right? And you came into the office one day, said, "Did you do your 100?" I'm like, "Damn, no, I didn't do it."
Ooh.
All right, so now I have to make it a point, and like
Mm-hmm.
before the day is over, to do the 100.
Mm-hmm.
And you 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 were right. The sky is the limit for SOS.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad I get to be a part of the journey. Like, I'm here and I get a chance to interview
Mm-hmm.
you. And then you look
Yeah.
back and I'm like, I interviewed him. I know him.
Here at the ground level, I
Right.
mean, hopefully everything's up and running, soonish. It's been almost a year since I came up with the idea, to be honest. We're about to get into a brand new summertime. I came up with this in the summertime last year. But yeah, honestly, preferably before we get in the summer, I'd like this to be something that is seen, that is visible, that is already motivating people on a regular basis. So hopefully by then, at the very least, I'll be obnoxiously wearing the merch, wherever you find me at that point. Um, but yeah, it's been interesting just because I feel like even though like yeah, I haven't had anything to really show for it quite yet, to simply talk to people about it and for people to be interested in like on one of the last productions I worked on late last year, I had a coworker who was regularly saying to me, like whenever he had to move something heavy, he would say out to me, "Swole on set, John, swole on set," So like the man was inspired to to just be like, and just do whatever he needed to do, and that's assuming that we weren't, cracking out like some push-ups or doing whatever at that moment. So, it's been great, talking to women, man about it, everybody, and just kind of getting everybody involved and that itself again is really inspiring and it's really awesome and I want to see that and yeah, thank you for being so interested in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean your inspiration to me is part of what led me here, I'm sure. So yeah, I just appreciate it. And like you said, like anything is better than nothing, y'all. Anything
Yeah.
is better than nothing. If you only do a few squats that day, that's better than just sitting around the whole day or just laying around the whole day. Even these little accomplishments, I mean, you gotta honestly. I recommend going ahead and notating that. That's what I do with my planner. Yeah, I will just go ahead and be like, okay, yeah, I did keep my streak going in Duolingo. I did one lesson, so that's something. And if it's to the point where it's just like, hey, I did get out of bed today, brush my teeth. Take these wins where you can get them, and you can build from there. You will feel better about yourself, and yeah, you can keep going, carry yourself forward.
Listen,
So.
a win is a win is a win.
Exactly.
Oh,
hmm
Jonathan, before we wrap up, is there any final words you'd like to leave the audience with?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can really say at this point. Well, I want y'all to follow me on this journey. For better or worse, there's already an IG page, a website, Twitter account, all that. So feel free to follow Swole On Set. Nothing really to see there yet, but there will be. So, feel free to hop on and follow those pages so you can be updated on when things do drop, or when you're just looking for a workout plan. I'm hoping that everybody gets involved. I'd love to see you featured on there, on any page that I have going on as well. So, yeah, just look out, y'all. It's coming. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, again, thank you for being a guest on the Rolling with Tape podcast. I see nothing but greatness in your future. And
Thank you.
and yeah, I'll be happy to be featured. Swole on set.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Getting swole with Tay.
Right? Yes. Yes. Rolling with Tay, swole with Tay, running with Tay. Come on, man. Listen.
Oh, that's the truth. That's the truth.
This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, a.k.a. Tay. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Catch y'all later.